Hi, welcome to Street Beat. My name is Mark Wagner and I'm your host. Today our guest is Fred Rawling, the creator of Bud and the Long Beach Junior Concert Band drummer. If you like these series, please click like and subscribe. Welcome, Fred.
Hey, Mark, thanks for having me.
Well, my pleasure. So how'd you get interested in syncopated drumming?
All right, so I got into drumming through concert band. Someone from uh, classmate in my typing class who sat across from me, um, you know, kept telling me about this marching band she was in, and I got to come join it. And I said, well, I don't play any instruments. I play guitar. Do you play guitar? No, we don't play guitar. It's a different kind of a band, but you could be a drummer. I'm like, well, that might be cool. Eventually, I went down there, and first practice I went to was Tuesday night marching practice in the McDonnell Douglas parking lot, and the first person she brought me up to was Tim Brennan, who's the head drummer. Met him and we talked a bit, and then he introduced me to Lonnie Dacchiato, who's the drum instructor, and then Marvin. But then we got to work, started marching, which was not natural for me. And anything musically for me is a challenge and does not come easily. I have to work really hard to master anything musically. Um, marching and then trying to play a drum, which I've never played before, was quite a challenge and very new. But also, is I had an epiphany during a marching practice where the tenor drums echoed off of the building, and during a tenor break. And I grew up in Lakewood, and I spent my whole childhood hearing drums in the distance, at night, and never could figure out where it came from. My friends and I went riding around on our bikes looking for them numerous times, and as a 13 and out and exploring, and I could never find the stuff. And then when I heard that I like, oh, that's it. I know where this. I know what this was now. So it is neat. It is neat to put that all together. Um, and boy, those guys just took me in. And I was one of the crowd. It took me a year to get into the drum section. Again, me takes me forever to get anything musically. And then I passed my tryout right before Vegas in 1990, and it was like, well, if we pass him in a tryout, we'll have an odd number snare, and it'll look good on the features. And he's just about ready, and I ended up getting the yay vote on that third tryout, and it went to Vegas. Then my last parade was Southgate of '95, and then I retired from concert band.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So tell me about that group behind you.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a build up to that. So, um, after I left concert band, I took a hiatus and stopped playing drums for a while. I just had a new son, um, and was married, and a lot of family stuff and jobs and all that happening. But in 1997, a guy named Merrill Fleeg from Long Beach City College was looking for drummers for the Logan Band reunion, or one of the LBCC reunions that they had. And is like, yeah, I know some guys. We could come down there and pad your numbers a little bit. And that grew into another group he had, which was uh, Classic Syncopated Drummers of Long Beach, and which is a predecessor to Bud, which is Brotherhood of United Drummers in the picture behind me. Um, we did that. A lot of Easter parades in Seal Beach and Garden Grove Strawberry Festival, Christmas parades like Seal Beach Christmas Parade, and um, we did another one. We never got to Belmont Shore, unfortunately. But anyhow, we did that till 1999. And about that time, Merrill was getting burned out. And I was, coming into my own as a leader. And I sort of got tired of doing things other people's way. And I wanted to start doing the stuff my way. Um, with the help of James Carroll and I, we came up with the concept of Brotherhood of United Drummers, and started that in '99, and that one ran through to 2002. At the end, we were doing less parades and more promotional stuff. We played for a political fundraiser for Arnold Schwarzenegger, other fancy parties, and we get paid and then go to the ATM and get a bunch of 20s and pass them out to the guys at the end of the thing. So it was pretty popular for a while, but calls stopped coming in eventually, um, and I was moving on to other things. About the same time I started Bud Up, um, I reached out to uh, some of the leadership in LGSD, Last Generation of Syncopated Drummers, and I was looking to recruit them for Bud. And at the opposite ended up happening. They had been talking amongst themselves about reforming for Belmont Shore in 2000, or maybe it's 99. I think it's 2000. Um, and um, and they were looking for some people, and I just happened to know a few people. So then, that um, that took a whole nother uh, extra out of me, and dividing my time between running my own group and doing that. And it was just the right time to stop Bud and start doing LGSD full time. And you see all the drums, for the group. I bought everything on eBay. I made them all look chrome. I put blue drop cords on them, blue ropes on them. Everything was drilled out to be a 10 lug drum, whether it was an old 8 lug drum, Slingerland or with pearl. I made them all look like Ludwigs. I put Ludwig casings on them. I went to really great lengths to make the group look sharp and uniform. We'd always have the same color heads. If anything was busted, like the flam heads that we'd use that have the yellow layer showing, that became a practice head, and we only used clear the white heads, and then the clear bass drum heads. But heck, you're the one that sold me my first drum. That way back after I quit concert band, and our families were hanging out quite a bit. The nights playing cards were great. But yeah, you sold me my first drum, and actually, I think I still have that one too.
Are you sure you didn't name Bud after the beer?
No, no. There's another story about that, but I'll tell that one a different time. You started RSR in '84, right?
84, yes.
Wow, wow. And they're still
40
playing.
year 40-year anniversary this year.
No kidding. No
Yeah.
kidding. You wanted me to be a part of that, back in the late '90s, and I just couldn't do the cadences. They're so complicated, and they're real well written, but it's just incorporating stuff that I'm not capable of playing. I tried.
Yeah, Marty got carried away when he wrote some of those.
Yeah, yeah, Val too. Yeah, be
Yeah.
good to get some of them guys on and do your podcast. That'd be pretty cool.
I got a hold of Val this afternoon. He's gonna do one. So I'm
Oh,
looking forward
great.
to it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So you started the LBJCB reunions, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's the other thing I started in with the help of Sean Isom. We started the reunions in 2003, and that goes back to something that Lonnie was doing. He used to have drummer banquets, and they'd be every 3 years or 2 years, is really sporadic, and we'd go out to a restaurant that he would like, or someplace he'd like to go, and do our and have the banquet there, and Sean and I were, we'd always do these banquets around Christmas time, when the alumni would be coming back for Hollywood. So we'd have some of the older guys there with the younger guys, and tell stories and have good times. Lonnie would do a really good job of having a program, and give out awards to people, little trophies and things like that. But Sean and I wanted to take it an extra level, and with the formation of Bud and Brotherhood of United Drummers and what that's all about, and that we were so much more than just a drum section and a band. There's something more to it. Until you're a part of it, you don't know what it is, right? But we did the first reunion in the McDonnell Douglas parking lot, and we only had 13 drummers. Most of them were from the current band's drum section, and then a few guys from the '90s, and our cymbal player from LGSD was there, and it wasn't a great turnout, but we all played drums, and that's one of the things that Sean and I decided from the beginning is, who's going to go to a reunion just to go to dinner? A drummer is going to go to a reunion to play drums. So I had all the drums. I had 37 drums from Bud that we could use to do something with. And so it was like, all right, well, we got that problem solved. Now we just got to get a hold of people and start finding numbers. And about that time also, I met an alumni from the '80s, Ramil Ateza, and he became very instrumental in the early days, in helping me with the planning and food prep, and on the day of, but in the build up too. He developed all the spreadsheets and the phone number lists, and maintained them and updated them, and he would just go and call people. Hey, you're going to go to the reunion? We'd have a spreadsheet on who said yes, we're going, and who's maybe, I don't know, we'll see what I can do, and who just flat out said no. And we developed an algorithm that we could pretty much predict what we're going to have, and for attendance, and how much food we'd need to buy. That we'd do raffles at the reunions, and then use the money to buy food and to rent the places. But after our turnout in 2003, we decided we got to change the venue. No one's going to come out to a hot parking lot. Why don't we make it a whole day thing? Let's do a beach party. So we that started our turn with doing Bolsa Chica Beach, and out of that, we have decent drummer turnout. 60, 70, 80 people. We did that for 3 years, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And the people at the beach just absolutely loved us, but the rangers hated us. And because the people watching would block the bike path, and they get pretty angry about all of that. They finally told us that last year that, where's your permit? I was like, oh, we just showed up. We didn't know we had to have a permit. And so I said, yeah, you do it again, you're going to have to do this, and you can't do it in August. You got to do it in the wintertime when nobody's here. We're like, the hell with this. This is no good. We're not doing that. So after that, we started doing them at El Dorado Park, and had been there all the way up to COVID, and we had to stop doing the reunion for a couple of years after that. But yeah, it's the reunions in a nutshell.
Yeah, I would have loved to have gone, but I live across the country in Georgia, so it's hard for
Yeah,
me to get there.
yeah, and that's about where I'm at too. In 2022, my family moved to Casper, Wyoming, and um, and so I had a decision is, Linda Frame and Jackie Gear, who are helping me, as part of the committee at the end, for, the last several years. Um, they, Linda moved to Texas. Jackie lives in Arizona. So, she'd just come out to visit Linda, and at the same time, we're doing the reunion. So she'd, volunteer and help us out too. So I lost all my help, and then the park doubled the rate for the rental, and we couldn't, that was just, out of the, just not an option to do. So, we, um, we got, one of the drummers had worked for a brewery, and in the last couple of years we've been having our reunions at the brewery. But my last year I was there, I'd reached out to Tim Brennan, and talked to him about if he wanted to carry on the legacy and keep doing this. And he was thinking about the same thing that I was. I'm leaving. This is too good to be, to shut down, and he's more than capable of carrying it on. And we thought the same way about the way we'd like this too, that we want to run it. The reunion should always be free. We're not going to charge anybody anything to come and do them. And we're gonna play drums, and we're going to provide some food for the guys, and most of all have a good time. And if it just ended up with being me and Ramil and Sean sitting in a chair, and hanging out in the park for the day, so be it. Sean Isom is also a big part of the getting the reunions together, between him and Ramil. We had some other people come in and out from time to time. Lots of people supported us. Glenn Stacy and his wife Donna used to make us these beautiful cakes. He is one hell of a baker, and would do these cakes that looked like the patch that we would, the custom patch that we do as giveaways every year. Ramil was also the artist on that. We'd come up with ideas and then do limited run patches, like 100 patches, and for each year of the reunion. And we ended up stopping that right after COVID. It just a lot of things changed after that.
Yeah, I may need to get hold of her mill. I need some artwork for this podcast.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, if you want the artwork for any of the reunion patches, I can send that stuff to you, as well as I got copies of all that. And
So Tim Brennan is running things now for the
yep,
reunion?
yeah. So Tim Brennan, he thought like I did, and it turned out to be a good fit. Last couple of reunions, he's been the guy running it. I still support him and do what I can on the from 1,200 miles away, but yeah, he turned out to be a godsend to keep this thing going in Long Beach, and he's doing a bang up job. I couldn't be happier.
So getting back to your concert band days, how was Hollywood?
Oh, Hollywood, always fantastic. I remember when we first started doing it, it was probably up until about 93, that, the parade was about 7 miles. And, it was just a long parade. And the end of it would always stink because there's no one there. You're just playing for, single story buildings, along the parade route. And then you get to the street where the buses and all the people are, and you'd play again and get reinvigorated. And then there's the bus ride home, and the, drummer 12 Days of Christmas. And
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I remember that.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
how
good.
come
Hollywood was fun.
Bud never did Belmont Shore? That's a popular parade.
Um, it just never happened. It just never could never put it together for Bud. A lot of that was because uh, Bud was using the same drummers as concert band and the same drummers that would be in RSR, and those other groups were in the same parade. And I was either going to get sloppy seconds from concert band or sloppy seconds from RSR. And believe it or not, Belmont Shore is a 3 mile parade. It's a mile and a half up and a mile and a half back. It doesn't even seem that long because there's so many people at the parade, and they're packed on both sides of the street and in the center, that you're just on adrenaline from the second you step off to the second you exit the parade route, and there's just tons of people watching and cheering and loving you. And so it's just a competition thing. There's only a certain amount of people that knew the cadences, and it's just we could never do Belmont Shore, never pull it together and get the right numbers. I wouldn't go out there with 6 people. I had to have a minimum of 7, 4, and 3. And I wouldn't hit the parade route with anything less. It's just not worth doing.
Did you ever go down and watch the other groups?
Oh yeah, I've gone down and watched a couple of times, and um, when I was in between groups when I wasn't doing anything, and it's just painful because I wanted to be there and I knew it. I knew some of the cadences they're playing, and it's just God, if I can't be there, for me it's just not worth watching. I got to be a part of it. It's just I don't get to play drums anymore, and because of the distance. So, it's just watching it isn't the same.
How much do you miss playing?
I miss it a lot. I really do. I miss my friends. I miss the brotherhood. Um, Casper has a drum and bugle corps called the Casper Cadets. I haven't been able to see them yet, but every time they play, I'm working or doing something. So, eventually I'll get to go see them. But yeah, I do miss it a lot, and I wish that when I hear the people not going to the reunion or something coming up for folks, it's like, gosh, man, you guys live within 30 miles of where they're doing the reunion. Do it while you can before you're too damn old to play. Eventually it happens, your body breaks, and you can't do it.
Did Greg's group ever come down?
Yeah, Greg Odell brought his group. Um, he brought the whole group one year, and he brought certain members from the group other years, and he did a performance for us, and just like he does his field shows, and he laid everything out and is absolutely fantastic. There's also a Catholic school that had a syncopated drum section, and they came down and performed for us one year, and that was really cool. And of course, you got us that we're just all grown adults that have been playing drums for up to 40 years, right? And we're just gorillas on the drums. These little 13-year-olds playing next to us, and they don't quite have the form or the strength, but they got the heart, and they played good, and it was just left a lot of the guys in the group going, huh, cool, this is where this works.
Yeah, Greg's group plays a lot of Wilson cadences, so I always like listening to them.
Yep. Yeah, and Greg has done so much. Props up to Greg Odell and the last regiment, because without them, syncopated drumming would be, almost extinct. You got the RSR still playing and still together, and them, and that's it. Concert band is gone now, and Tim also started a group out of that called Legacy, and they've done some performances. They have uniforms, they have drums, and he's sort of going down the same road that I did with Bud. But this is a concert band group, called Legacy for alumni drummers, and even if you weren't in concert band, he's willing to train people that weren't and just want to get into drumming. So, that's an exciting front for the Long Beach area. To at least we might have another group staying alive and exposing new people to this style of drumming.
Yeah, I've heard about Legacy, and I've heard that Tim's doing a bang up job with them.
Yeah, yeah, yep. I just hope he doesn't get burned out. I warn him. I keep telling him, get other
Yeah,
people to help you. Don't do like what I did, bud. I kept it going for as long as I could, but just being a one-man show, doing all the drum maintenance, doing all the, drum purchases, doing all the, finding, blue sweatshirts for people and, black pants and, whatever, it just, we needed to be uniform. I'd have a duffel bag with a bunch of blue sweatshirts in it because people would forget. And I'd have, I had, a bag with black drum straps because people would only have a white one or they'd forget, so I'd had to have a bunch of equipment to support that because I wasn't going to go and have some guy with a white strap when all the rest of us have black straps. It looks silly.
did you get the black strap idea from RSR? Because that's all they use.
Um, no, not really. It was just, Tim Brennan had a black strap that he'd used for practices. And I always thought that looked pretty cool, at concert band. And that one just stayed in the back of my mind. I know RSR and LGSD used all black straps. When LGSD had the British style uniforms, they had white. Um, but in the later years, the second rebirth of that group, they used black straps, and then we had BDU top and bottoms that were black. And that was our uniform. We had patches sewn onto the jackets and everything. It was pretty slick.
Yeah, with RSR yellow shirts, the black looked a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, contrasts better.
It sure did. So what else you want to talk about?
Oh wow. Um,
We got time.
yeah, we got time. The there's a there's another group out there that's doing well that Greg Odell had a hand in, and Pat Jennings is doing. Um, but it's another Wilson alumni drummer group, and they're willing to train people, and they got some new people coming in, and they're usually playing for the Wilson reunions, school reunions. For so many years, everybody knows what the syncopated drums are at Wilson, and they do quite a few gigs. And Pat's doing a really good job. He's come down to our reunions too. I invited him down, and he's hung out and played. Um, but yeah, there's opportunities for people to do this and keep it going. Just got to show up, and all the groups have equipment, and all the groups have training materials, and all the groups have someone who can help you. And if you want to get into this style of drumming, um, you know, you know, reach out to one of those guys. Reach out to you or I or anyone else, and um, what we can do, Mark, is get some YouTube links for the reunions and put them down in the description on this podcast. I can send you a bunch of links, and that way people can actually hear and see what this is. But the real magic is when you're there in person and you're feeling the drumming. It shakes your bones. It's thunder,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about.
Okay, so now we're running out of time.
All
So
right.
I appreciate you being here and taking the time out of your day to do this.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Please subscribe and hit like if you like it all. And thank you for watching. Have a good night.
Good night.